In this video, I'm going to go through one of the three phases that I and everybody else is looking to get ripped goes through. Let's jump right into it. So there's three phases. The raw phase, which is the first phase, everybody goes through this. There's no way you can skip it. The second phase is the refined phase, and the third phase is the relentless phase. Now, the raw phase is from the time you start to your 1 year mark. Now, that's 1 year of consistently going to the gym. So if you've been starting and stopping, you've been on and off for 3 years, you're still in the raw phase. So it's 1 year of consistent going to the gym, working out. The refined phase is 1 to 3 years, and then the relentless phase is 3 years to life. And I say life because this is an ongoing process. It's a lifestyle change that you make at this point. But for this video, we're going to talk specifically about the raw phase. Now, in the raw phase, there's 5 parts to this. The first part, which is the most important part, which I'll be honest with you, a lot of people skip this stage. A lot of people try to blow past this. There is no blowing past any of these phases or any of these parts. So in the first phase, this is the outcome, right? So when I say outcome, the important part in this is defining your actual outcome. What do you actually want to happen? So you just saying, I want to lose weight. You just saying, I want to get rid of my stomach. You just going to go. That's not defining your outcome. So when I say defining your outcome, specificity is the key to this. How clear can you see your outcome? How clear can you see your end goal? And when we first start, this is very challenging. It seems easy, but a lot of times when we start off, we've never been ripped. We've never had our ideal physique. So when it comes to creating that ideal outcome, your ideal goal, imagination and visualization is a huge part of this. That means spending a little bit of time every single day, really locking in what it is you want to look like. And sometimes inspiration is very great for this. It's amazing for it. We got things like Instagram, Facebook, all of these things that you can use to find people that have similar physiques that you would like. Now, this doesn't mean compare yourself to them. All this simply means is we're using this to spark our imagination. So this is part 1 and one of the most important parts. The second part is consistency. Consistency is the foundation for getting and keeping lasting results. This is one of the hardest things for people to comprehend. This is one of the hardest things for people to really understand. But if you're starting and stopping constantly, every single week is a new week because you missed 3 weeks last week, you'll never, ever get ripped. You'll just never get there. So what do I mean when I can say consistency? I don't care how many times you go to the gym, whether you choose to go 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, that's irrelevant. What's important is you're going every single week. What's important is you're learning how to stay true to your commitments, regardless of what's going on in your life, because life is going to happen at this point, right? So you might have a family member get sick. You might be sick. Your kids might miss school and somebody has to do something about that, but you committed to going to the gym. So it's about following through regardless of your emotions. Because a lot of times when we first start, when we're in this raw phase, we rely on things like motivation. We rely on things like inspiration to spark that inside of us to do what we need to do. Well, those are all fleeting. They come and go like the wind. So to really lock this in, this is when you start to develop habits. This is when you start to develop a routine, when consistency shows up on a daily basis, when consistency shows up on a weekly basis. So this is the second part of the raw phase. Now, the third part of the raw phase, which everybody likes to skip, is getting your form down. Everybody wants to lift heavy. Everybody wants to do the crazy stuff they see on Instagram. Look, I get it. I get it because that was me. I wanted to skip ahead to the advanced stuff. Well, If you don't have good form, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to get hurt or you're just going to quit because it's too hard and you can't do the things that you see the person on Instagram doing. But one thing you don't realize is that person you've been seeing, they've been on their journey for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, even a decade. So here you are in month 2 trying to do the crazy things you've seen on Instagram, right? You're in the raw phase, they're in the relentless phase. It's not going to work, right? So form is important. Don't concentrate on the crazy stuff. Get your bench down. Get your squats down. Get your feeding right. Get your hand, your grip, how you hold the bar when you deadlift. That's huge. Strength can easily come. Size, that can easily come. But if it's not built on a solid foundation, you'll never get to the refined phase, which is the second phase, and you definitely will never get to the relentless phase. It just won't happen. So form is huge. The fourth part, routine. So when I say routine, develop some sort of system that you use. What do you do on Monday? What do you do on Tuesday? What do you do on Wednesday? What do you do on Thursday? And what do you do on Friday? And does it look the same as last week as it does this week? You have to develop some sort of routine. When you go to work, you have structure to it. Routine is just a structure. Routine is creating something that you do over and over and over and over. Why do you do it over and over and over and over instead of changing everything up every week, instead of changing things up every day? Number one, that's how you get better form. That's how you breed consistency. But more important than all of that, that's how you see your growth. Did you get better this week from last week? And the only way you're truly going to know that is if you're doing the exact same workout you did last week. Also, what a routine does. This is how you end up with a balanced physique. This is how you define all your portions. So when you get to the refined phase, when you get to the relentless phase, you don't have this crazy looking body. You don't have overdeveloped biceps. You don't have overdeveloped traps. Everything looks the same because you've developed a balanced routine. Also, what's going to happen in your routine, this is when you learn about reps. This is when you learn about sets, right? Because all of these things play a part in the actual physique you end up in, whether you're doing high reps or whether you're doing low reps, whether you're doing 4 sets or you're doing 7 sets. All of those are going to determine what your physique looks like. So if you want to get ripped, that requires you to do a certain workout. Now, the fifth and final stage, right, of the raw phase is accountability. And this is huge. So when I say accountability, the raw phase is the hardest phase. This is when most people do not get out of this phase. I'm just going to be transparent with you. I'm just going to be real. The reason I want to be real and transparent that most people never get out of this phase is because now going into it, you understand it's going to be hard. You understand it's going to be challenging. Not that you can't do it, but if I was going into battle, I would want to know what I'm going into. I would want to know what my enemy looks like. I want to know what kind of weapons do they use. So me telling you the raw stage, the raw phase, most people never get through, you can equip yourself. Well, why do people not get through this stage? Because it's hard. And what makes this so hard, you're changing your habits. You're doing things you don't normally do. And anytime you do things that you don't normally do, it's hard. It's challenging. You suck at it. You make a lot of mistakes. You fall down. But you get up every single time. That's how you get out of this. And the easiest way, or one of the biggest helpers that you can have, is having accountability. Having someone that's on the journey with you. Now, for me, I found someone, luckily, who was ahead of where I was at. They had already achieved the results that I wanted. And I just went and worked out with them. So if you have someone in your life already that they're where you want to go, or they're ahead of where you currently are, hit them up. Get an accountability partner. And if you don't have somebody, guess what? When you go to the gym, there's a whole bunch of people in there. My advice, find someone in the gym that has the physique that you want. Ideally, you want to find somebody who's at this stage, the relentless phase. They've spent their 3+ years working towards their physique. So they understand the raw phase. They understand the refined phase. So then that can speed up the process of getting here. Now, a lot of people, when they first start off, when you're in this raw phase, a lot of times you're just intimidated to just walk into the gym. Everything looks foreign. The equipment is foreign. You're not sure what to do. This is why a lot of people will go straight to the cardio. Because everyone knows, even if you've never been on a treadmill, you can figure it out. Even if you've never been on elliptical, you can figure that out. But when it comes to free weights, it scares a lot of people, which I understand because that was me. Right? So having an accountability partner, having someone that can hold you accountable, and if you don't have someone, a friend that's where you want to be, if you don't have someone in your gym, because sometimes there's just not, I don't know, maybe you live in a small town and nobody in your gym is fit. I've been to gyms where nobody in the gym is fit. Nobody in the gym had the physique that I wanted. Well, hire a coach. Get a personal trainer. Whether it's in person, online, there's so many different options that you can use nowadays, but it's super important that you get this. These are the 5 phases that you have to do to go from the raw phase to the refined phase. Hopefully you got value from this video. And if you did, I encourage you, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.